All right, everybody, welcome back to another video. This is Swiss, and today we're going to talk about another DAO topic. And actually, this is quite a hot topic right now all over Twitter, and I think some of you may be aware of what's going on. I would like to just quickly cover the basics to explain what happened, where it came from, and what's going to happen next. And of course, we have a couple of questions for the Decentraland Foundation to explain some of the unclarities we currently have, also because of this situation. So let's get started right after the intro. All right, guys, so basically I've tried to trace back where this whole issue started, and it seems like this has happened in a Discord here. It's difficult to investigate that retroactively, but there is actually a post or a question. Let me quickly find this in the DAO section of the Decentraland Discord. And it has been asked by Doomop, and he says, great news about a snapshot-based DAO. Is it possible to delegate voting power? I believe Snapshot supports that in general. I, for instance, hold my land on a dedicated cold wallet, so it is very inconvenient for me to use that directly for voting. It would be great if I could send a single on-chain transaction to delegate all the voting power of my cold wallet to my normal MetaMask wallet and use that for votes. And 4 people clicked hard here, including Eric, who is representing the Decentraland Foundation here. And Decentraland pretty much says, and maybe this is Eric's personal opinion, I'm not sure about that, hey, thanks, your situation is not unique. Delegated voting is definitely something that we think should be added as soon as we can. And now this is quite a strong statement, like, what does that mean? I mean, we have introduced the DAO 2 weeks ago, and you're saying we think it should be added as soon as we can. I mean, for me, this was like, okay, while Snapshot, let's continue. While Snapshot supports it in general, there is a little bit of extra work that needs to happen on the Decentraland side to set up the strategy, as they're referred to by Snapshot. So I'm not sure what the second component means here, but the first sentence was enough for me to understand why there was a bit of an outcry in the community going forward, because just a little bit later, I assume the following proposal in the DAO has been launched, and it's been launched by Maurice Mustang, who has registered his name, according to my research, roughly 2 weeks ago. I'm not sure if this is just a new name or if this is really just a new player, but just for context. And he's proposing the following. Let's read the proposal. With the introduction of the new DAO-powered Snapshot, there is a feature within the Snapshot platform that allows for voter power delegation with a defined strategy for the VP calculation. What does that second component of the sentence mean? I'm not sure. Implementing this feature would allow any player to delegate voting power to another player by visiting the following link. So I'm not going to continue with the rest. Why would you want to delegate voting power to another player? And now he is bringing up 2 points, which are the 2 arguments why this makes sense. Point 1. There are a few reasons a player may want to delegate voting power. Many players I have spoken with, and I mean, just for context, the name has been registered for 2 weeks, but you never know, benefit of the doubt. Many players I've spoken with tend to store their parcels in a separate address, typically a cold wallet. Interesting. Honestly speaking, I don't know anyone who is storing Decentraland land in a cold wallet. But I understand the concern. Maybe for some people this is this is a security risk of using a MetaMask wallet, although I think it's fairly secure unless you pass on your seed words or something like that, or if your computer is hacked. But frankly speaking, I think there are people who have millions in their MetaMask wallets, and I would probably hack them first before I hack your one land wallet, although you may be owning 1,000 lands. I do not know. So let's continue. That lends operator rights to their playable hot address. Okay. This proposal is an effort to preserve the security of those assets while being able to exercise the voting power they represent. Okay, I think most people who actually did comment here at the bottom very thoroughly, and most people are active community members. I've never seen so much participation actually, and eventually I did join in here at the bottom as well. And everyone kind of says, okay, I mean, the first component maybe that is an issue for you, maybe this is an issue for a few people, but let's look at the second point. And the second point is the second reason arises from the notion of proxying your vote. And now this is where the controversy really started, I believe. Not all players or asset holders will participate in proposal review and voting, especially as the number of proposals to the DAO grows. This proposal allows passive investors to exercise their voting power by delegating it to players who have a shared vision for the future of Decentraland. And I think this seems kind of innocent at first, but if you extrapolate what this could potentially mean and what kind of impact that could have on Decentraland, with a little bit of fantasy, you can actually imagine a lot of horror scenarios here. And I think it's definitely worthwhile coming over to the forum here, register and join the conversation. I think a couple of guys have some really interesting insights where they see some issues, especially with the second component of this proposal. But if I would have to summarize it, I would say most people are concerned with the fact that it is now like considering if this proposal would go through, it would be possible to accumulate votes from groups of people and make that voting power available to one single address, meaning that there will be a tendency of centralizing power, decision power into single addresses. And, I think this can be really innocent if this is just to solve a cold storage issue. And this may be innocent if you want to pool 3 people's voting power into one. But what if this is used systematically to scrape voting power from a whole community? What if this is used to take voting power from external investors into Mana who have never logged into Decentraland to literally control the outcome of every possible vote going forward? And now this might sound a little bit dramatic, but if you actually switch over to the actual poll, you will see that there is currently a bit of a battle going on, especially as this whole conversation has been exploding on Twitter. The no's have come in aggressively into this poll now, where the community members are actually mobilizing themselves to oppose this for the very first time. Initially, when I looked at this percentage was really low, and there was not it looked like there will be not a chance in the world for a yes to be overruled. And what really happened in the process earlier today, just before I joined the conversation, is that someone actually voted with a 2 million voting power vote. And I think this is where the real problem started, and this is where the community really was outraged, because we were kind of discussing this whole issue of this potentially being abused to pool voting power, and then all of a sudden someone comes in and votes with a 2 million voting power on that proposal, kind of illustrating where this could potentially take us in the future. And I think this is what brought this whole thing really to higher temperatures, and I totally understand that. I think we should not introduce additional tools that create and open doors for further centralization of voting power to single addresses. It might feel that it's unlikely to happen, but frankly speaking, I think it's very likely to happen going forward. I think the active community members that we have today, who spend a significant amount of effort and time to grow the entertainment value of Decentraland this early in its development, they have so little say in these kind of proposals, and it's so difficult to make something happen when you see that additional potential loopholes will be introduced by people who actually just want to bridge their cold storage with their hot storage. I mean, it just feels completely disproportionate, and it feels like it's important to dismiss such a proposal. And then when someone comes in with a 2 million voting power just to confirm this whole suspicion with the cherry on the cake, I mean, this is when we need to come together and get another 60, another 1.5 million of voting power from somewhere just to overrule that current yes. So this is, I think, where the whole issue is at. There is a lot of stuff going on Twitter. I have pinned my post to the top as well. I'm trying to keep you guys updated, and some people have actually contributed some very interesting opposing insights. Mikael has posted a Medium post. I encourage you to go check it out on my Twitter. It actually stipulates on what kind of democratic systems we have today, including direct democracy we have in Switzerland, and it kind of tries to line out the pros and the cons. I do not agree with a lot of those points, but this is a very interesting article. But then it also introduces a new concept of this liquid democracy, where the main point, I believe, is that you do not want people to vote that do not have expertise in a specific topic, because this would kind of skew the final outcome and not benefit society as a whole. You do want to have people voting who actually have subject matter expertise and who have spent time investigating a specific issue. And I totally agree with this. This is true. But I do not think that this is applying to Decentraland today. I do not think that, I mean, if there are two people in Decentraland who do pass on their votes to an expert inside their micro community, I would understand that. But the problem is the same mechanism will open this up for external investors who would manipulate Decentraland potentially, or players who have access to external investors could manipulate Decentraland as they wish. And I think we should not open up these kind of tools, especially if we can vote on that. And it is disappointing to see that major key players in Decentraland have voted yes on that, just to facilitate their administrative tasks, because they own so many assets. So, long story short, this is the current situation. I think a lot of people have actually signed up for the forum. A lot of people voted for the very first time. So there is definitely an upside to this whole drama here. And there is going to be a Twitch stream with Kevin where they're going to invite this guy to explain what he wanted to achieve. But frankly speaking, after seeing the initial Discord post, I do understand where they came from. And I think they just didn't anticipate what the potential downsides of that are. And I'm really glad that we were able to mobilize the whole community to kind of pay attention to this, because the DAO is going to be important, and this just made it come alive. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope I did not forget anything important here. I did not go through the individual contributions, comments on Twitter, on the forum. There is a lot of interesting nuggets there. I encourage you to start using the DAO now if you haven't done so already. In the meantime, if you have not subscribed to this channel, please do so, because I will be covering a lot more on the DAO going forward. There are a lot of interesting proposals already there. And we need a lot of explanations from Decentraland on how to interpret these polls, if these are binding or not. So I think this is an exciting topic going forward. Please do hit the like button if this was useful to you, and this really, really helps with the YouTube algorithm. And I see you guys in the next video. Take it easy. Bye-bye.